Did you know that bike is short for Bikel?
I f***ing hate you.
I have so many lists. Hey, it's Lo, and welcome back to another edition of YOLO, where I'm here by myself talking about things that I know a little bit about. Not a lot, because I'm not an expert in any field. So, not sure if you guys remember this girl. Insert video of me crying in the Polo Park parking lot. I don't even know what to do about my skin anymore. It is so painful. And I can try wearing as much makeup as possible, but it doesn't help. It just makes it worse. I'm having an emotional day. So, you guys know that I have dealt with cystic acne for a very long time. So as you can see from the title of this video, I made the very tough decision to go on Accutane. I have been off Accutane for 3 or 4 months now, and it was honestly the best decision I've ever made for my skin, but it took me a long time to make that decision. So in this video, I'm going to talk about my history with acne, and then we'll go into the products that I used while I was on Accutane and the methods I used to survive the very grueling 5 months. So if you just want to skip to the part where I talk about the products that I used, go for it. I will not be offended. That's kind of what I did when I was leading up to starting the drug. I watched a whole bunch of YouTube videos and I saw what products I should and shouldn't use, and kind of created my collection from YouTube, from Pinterest, from Google, from Reddit. I did a lot of research on what I should be doing just to make it easier on my body. So I started getting acne when I was very young, probably about 12 or 13. I started on birth control when I was very young for that reason. And so my acne was always kind of there. It was dormant until my early 20s. And then once I hit my early 20s, I went off birth control and my skin was horrible. I tried different birth control pills. I tried different face wash methods, different products. I spent a lot of money trying out different things and nothing was working. I saw a dermatologist in 2014 and they told me that basically I was at the point where Accutane would be the only thing that would fix it. But I was a little worried at that time, a little apprehensive about being on the drug. So I took some time to think about it. I did a lot of research, but when I finally made the decision to go on it and start it, I had to be re-referred to the dermatologist that I was seeing, and it was going to be a process. I didn't even live in Brandon anymore. I was in Winnipeg. So I put it off again. Then last summer, I finally decided enough was enough. I was ready. I'd done my research. My family was on board with it. A lot of people have not necessarily misconceptions. A lot of people know how dangerous of a drug it is and they don't agree with people being on it, but I was at the point where I'd been suffering from really bad cystic acne for like about 10 or 11 years, and I was just done because it's emotionally and physically painful. It's something that people have really, really bad self-esteem because of. It's not an easy decision to go on something like an isotretinoin. It is warm in here and I don't know why I'm wearing a sweater. So Accutane is an isotretinoin. It's actually not called Accutane anymore. That was a brand name of one that was pulled from the shelves and reformulated. But an isotretinoin is basically a medication that changes the makeup of your sebaceous glands, so the glands that produce oil in your skin. It slows down or stops oil production and it shrinks your pores, and it is almost a cure for acne that does not respond or has not responded to topical forms of anti-acne treatments like benzoyl peroxide or salicylic acid. It is a drug that is very tough on your liver and can also cause pretty intense birth defects. So before you can go on Accutane, you have to be on some form of birth control. So I had to start taking oral contraceptives again, which I hate being on. I was on it for about 9 months of last year, and I wasn't a huge fan, but this is a small fan. You're not funny. In some places, like I know in the States, you usually have to do a pledge type thing and do monthly blood tests to prove that you are not pregnant. before you can get your next refill. So every 4 weeks I had to go back into the dermatologist and get another prescription because they won't do longer than 4 weeks at a time. Even the pharmacies won't order more than 4 weeks worth at a time either. I started with doxycycline before I went on Accutane. You can't be on both at the same time, but I was on doxycycline, which is a antibiotic that is used mainly for skin issues, and it reduced my chances of having an initial breakout. So I didn't have a huge initial breakout when I first started. So this is a picture of what I looked like when I first started. This was after 2 months of doxycycline plus 2 months of birth control. My acne is very hormonal, so it does make sense that with birth control it did die down a little bit. So this is 1 month in, so after I've been on the medication for about 4 weeks. This is about halfway through, and then this is what it looked like when I was done. I'm very, very pleased with the end results, but it was a very, very tough 5 months for me. So these are the products that I used, starting with hydration. So it is very, very important that you stay hydrated because it makes every part of your body, all of its processes, very, very dry. So I typically drink 2 to 3 liters of water a day. I upped that to about 4 liters just to keep everything on the insides moisturized. So this guy here holds, I don't even know how much this holds, but this I would usually fill a few times throughout the day, and then I have a 1 liter glass mason jar that I drink from when I'm at home and first thing in the morning. So that one I'd have a couple of those a day. I also use some different supplements just to keep my body kind of going. So because Accutane is very hard on the liver, they suggest that you don't drink alcohol. At least my doctor suggested I didn't drink alcohol, because if you're drinking alcohol, your liver in particular is processing it, and it's tough to do both at the same time. Your liver is not a very good multitasker. You have to do what you can to help your liver. As a 32-year-old who has been drinking for a long time, I had to be nice to the old Livski. I also took something called milk thistle, which helps to support liver function. I would have to take it with food because sometimes it would upset my stomach, as well as the omega-3s. I usually take omega-3 fish oils anyway, but oil helps with digestion. These I also have to make sure I take with food, or else I just get super nosh. And then I would also take vitamin E. I'm not sure if you are interested in taking supplements while you're on it, but it's something that was suggested to me, so I did it. It's something that doesn't really add much to your daily routine, so it's easy peasy. First, we'll talk about hair. Let's talk about hair. So I usually only wash my hair every few days, like maximum 3 times a week. When I was on Accutane, especially like halfway through to the end, I didn't have to wash my hair for about 1.5 weeks. I would usually go like maybe 10 days without washing it, and that's because my scalp as well as my skin did not produce any oils. So when I did wash it, I had to make sure that I was very careful about what products I was using to keep the moisture in as much as possible. This is the OGX Hydrate and Revive Argan Oil of Morocco conditioner. I got this from Shoppers Drug Mart. You can literally get it at any drugstore. It's an extra strength conditioner, and it's really, really nice and creamy. I would even put it in my roots. Usually when I wash my hair, I do roots with shampoo and ends with conditioner. Not at the same time, obviously, I alternate. But this I actually would put all the way up to my roots throughout all of my hair because I needed it so badly. I also made sure that I wasn't using as many heat tools just to keep my hair from being fried. I don't use a blow dryer anyway, but I tried to stay away from using my curling wand or my straightener as much as possible. Even in the shower, I would usually keep the water lukewarm because the hot water just did not do good things to my skin or my hair. Okay, so let's talk about makeup. So my skin was very, very red, like red. I'll insert a picture here of what I looked like with half my face covered in makeup, the other half not. This is very common, like everyone gets very, very red skin. So I had to completely change my makeup routine, which was very, very hard for me because I've been doing my makeup the exact same way since I was a teenager because my skin has always been oily. For makeup, I would start with this It Cosmetics primer. So it's basically like an oil. It smells amazing, and I only used a teeny tiny bit. This is actually Paige's. She has very dry skin, so she had a lot of really good suggestions of what to use while my skin was dry. So this is called the Feel the Moment Anti-Aging Ultra Hydrating Sensory Awakening Primer Serum. It gives a really, really nice smooth surface to put foundation and concealer onto. Another thing that was very, very useful the Algenist Reveal Concentrated Color Correcting Drops. So these are green. You can get other colors, of course, for color correction, but these guys are amazing to add into makeup. It's a very, very thin consistency, so you can add it into any sort of foundation or moisturizer, anything like that, and it cancels out the redness. You can even apply it directly to the skin, which is what I would do sometimes when my skin was very red, because green, of course, is the opposite color to red on the color wheel. Y'all know this. Foundation that I used is the Maybelline Fit Me Hydrate and Smooth. This one was tricky because the lightest shade in the Hydrate and Smooth version is still a little too dark for me, whereas the lightest shade in their matte and poreless is too light for me. I don't understand. It's for normal to dry skin, and it leaves a bit of a dewy finish. It's also light coverage. I found if I wore something with heavy coverage while I was on the drug, my skin wouldn't breathe and my skin would feel horrible when I got home at the end of the day. For setting spray, this is the e.l.f. Dewy Setting Mist. This stuff smells amazing. It smells like coconut, and it leaves a really, really nice dewy finish. So I would usually, after I did my powder, I would spray this guy on and dab it in a little bit with my beauty blender. I found that my powder would not sink into my skin the way it does when it's oily or a combination. It would just kind of sit on top and just look horrible. It would also cling to a lot of my dry patches no matter what powder I used. So this was really, really good to use after putting the powder on. I also still love, of course, my Mario Badescu facial spray with aloe, herbs, and rose water. I've been using this guy for a very long time. I would use this before I did my makeup, after I did my makeup, partway through the day. It just really helps hydrate the skin while you're still wearing makeup. For lipstick, I couldn't wear lipstick for the entire 5 months. It was very hard, so I had to switch to moisturizing lip balms. Throughout the day, I would also use my Rosebud Salve. This stuff is really good, but it's very, very strongly scented, very, very rose scented, obviously. So I didn't use it as much because I kind of got sick of the rose scent. I would also use like full-on Aquaphor. This stuff is amazing. It's the Aquaphor Healing Ointment. I use this on my tattoos. I use this on my lips when they're a little dry still. At night, I would put it on my hands, but this I had in like a little kind of smaller pot that I kept at work, and this was really, really good for my lips and my nose because my nose would get really, really dry. Those are the things that I would usually use for my makeup routine. Another thing that I had to use consistently was my eye drops. I had laser eye removal. No. I had laser eye surgery a couple years ago, a year and a half ago. My eyes have always been a little dry since then, and when I was on Accutane, it was so bad. It even got to the point where my eyesight was so blurry because there was no moisture or oil production within my eyes. I used a lot of Systane Ultra. I used this all the time. I literally had one of these guys in every corner of my house, in my purse, at work. I also like the Murine Tears. These ones are pretty cheap from Walmart. Gentle relief for dry, irritated eyes. I loved this stuff because it goes in easy. And then at night, I would use the Systane Ointment Nighttime Relief. This is actually something that one of the receptionists at the dermatologist's office told me about because she, just making small talk, was like, how's it going? And I said, oh, it's fine, but my eyes are just horrible. And she was like, are you using the ointment? I was like, what? And so she told me to go to Walmart, find the Systane Ointment, and put this in every night before I went to bed, and it was a game changer. Also, another thing I would do right before I went to sleep is I use the Laneige Lip Sleeping Mask. I still use this post-Accutane. I even used it pre-Accutane. It's really good during the day too because it leaves a bit of a pinky rosy hue. So it can be used as an everyday lip balm. I find it just a little thick, so it's really good to put on at night. I would follow up with one of the Lush lip scrubbies. I bought one at Christmas time. It's like a sugar plum scent or flavor, and it is amazing. Why am I wearing a sweater in July? So, now we are moving on to skincare. So for my cleanser, to take my makeup off, I found makeup wipes were very, very harsh on my skin. I tried to use micellar water with oil in it, and just all of it my skin reacted to. So I came across this stuff. It's the Sephora Cleansing Oil in Balm, but it's like a pomade, a balm, I guess. You rub it in your hands until it becomes an oil, and then you rub it all over your face. I found this worked really well, as well as just basic coconut oil. And this was actually really, really good at getting eye makeup off. It wasn't harsh on the eyes, and it really got my mascara and stuff off. So that's what I used to take my makeup off. And then when it came to actually washing my face, I used the Clinique facial bar soap. It's very, very gentle on your skin. So there's not a lot of ingredients in it that your skin would react to. So that was something I would use in the morning and at night. I used a couple different moisturizers depending on what time of day it was. One of my favorites was, this is the Life brand moisturizing cream. So this is basically the same as Cetaphil. It has hyaluronic acid in it, which is the only acid that you should be using on your skin when you're on Accutane, because it helps your skin retain moisture. This won't clog pores, so it's okay to use afterwards. I found it's really, really heavy though, but this is still completely full. I didn't use as much of it as I anticipated. During the day, I would use the Cetaphil Daily Hydrating Lotion, or I would use the Clinique Moisture Surge. I love this one. This is the 72-hour auto replenishing hydrator. It's a nice gel formula, so it's also really good when you have oily skin. Anything gel as opposed to cream is great for oily, acne-prone skin. I'm almost out, and it was a little pricey. So if you can find a drugstore brand that is comparable to this guy, go for it, but it was kind of worth the splurge, TBH. I would also use, again, Cetaphil Moisturizing Lotion. This I would use on my body. So I had found this one was a little thinner, so better for the face. This one I would use on my arms and legs. I also use the Bath & Body Works body cream. They have it in a lot of their different scents. I did sometimes find something with a scent my skin would react to. So this, since it doesn't have perfumes or colors or anything, it's very, very gentle on your skin. You can use this on your face, you can use it on your body. It's great for both. After moisturizer and cleansing and everything, I would always put rosehip oil on. This is great to help with the scarring that you are going to have after Accutane and after years and years and years of acne. For my hands as well, I would always use the Norwegian hand cream. I loved this one because I felt it didn't leave my hands greasy afterwards. So if I just needed a quick lotion when I was at work or I was doing something like at the computer, because you just need a teeny tiny bit and it doesn't leave your hands feeling greasy, so you can still kind of use them after you put the lotion on. And then the mask that I used a lot of sheet masks as well. There's an avocado one from Sephora that I use quite often. But this is the Origins Drink Up Intensive Overnight Mask. You put this on before you go to bed and it soaks in while you're sleeping. You wash it off in the morning. It's not super thick, but it is very hydrating and it smells delish. It smells almost like a citrus. Another thing that I had to make sure I did was I would have a nightly Epsom salt bath. Since it was the middle of winter, baths were a common thing for me to have. In the summer it's not as common, but in the winter I would have a bath every night before I went to bed, because I work retail, which means I'm on my feet about 9 hours a day, and Accutane is very, very hard on your joints and your muscles. So I was in a lot of pain. I started going to a physiotherapist 2 times a week. I would take muscle relaxers, extra strength painkillers, and Epsom salt baths, and that's how I could make it through near the end. But it was rough. It could just be because I'm older, it could just be because I'm on my feet all day, but that was one thing that I wasn't prepared for. I bought a huge jug of Epsom salts from Costco. Still have some left because it is a very large jug of Epsom salts. But if you can get your hands on some, maybe some that are scented with like lavender, and it could be like a stress relief while you're stressing out over your skin, that would be cool. I need to wrap this up so I can turn the air conditioning on. Hey guys, currently editing this video and I realized I forgot 2 very, very, very important things. One of them is sunscreen. I use the Neutrogena Clear Face sunscreen, and I think it's SPF 60, and it's just something that you need to add into your daily skincare routine because an isotretinoin makes your skin very photosensitive, so very sensitive to the sun and tanning beds, anything. So you just kind of have to be a lot more careful than you usually are. And the other thing that's very important, or what's very important for me, is I had a humidifier on my bedside table, so every night I'd set up the humidifier. I'd put some essential oils in it. It was also an oil diffuser, and that was a game changer for my dry nose because I was breathing in the extra moisture while I was sleeping. I think the one that I had, the humidifier I had, It was just one that we got at Marshall's. I'll see if I can find the brand name of it and I'll put it down below like I do with all the other things. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure I added those in before I finished up editing this video. Leftover wine from my birthday. Hi. So I think that's everything that I used and that got me through my Accutane journey. If you have any questions for me, please list them down below. If you have any comments or concerns about going on this type of drug, let me know and I can help you out. If you have any hate that you want to throw at me because I made the decision to go on a very dangerous drug, knock that hate back out of the park. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you like and subscribe and click the little bell thingy-majiggy to make sure you get notifications every time Paige and I post a new vid. This has been YOLO. Cheers till next time. Pew pew pew. But isn't that funny? Bike is short for Michael. Like Mike is short.